Hey guys, the seventh video on taxonomy and evolution. This one on natural selection. And again, one of Darwin's main points and how organisms tend to change over time, kind of in a few different directions. So organisms with favorable traits or adaptations, we talked about adaptations last video, will survive and produce more offspring. The more good traits that are passed on from generation to generation, the greater chance that organism has of surviving, all right, and becoming more numerous. All right, that's why our numbers are getting big. All right, we're sort of killing everybody else off to humans' advantage. Now, there's three types: directional, and you can see sort of two patterns here. This is the original in blue. And this would be the outcome, and you can see the arrow moving to the right. So an extreme phenotype is favorable. When giraffes first started out, there was short, medium, and long-necked giraffes. When there was times of drought, most of the food was high up in the trees. So the long-necked giraffes had an advantage of getting food, and so they could survive times of drought. So instead of all being sort of three different variations of giraffes, short, medium, and long necks, eventually it moved this way and they became all long-necked giraffes. That's directional selection. Now, the second one is called stabilizing. And you can see we use two arrows for this. And the original's in blue here, kind of the same pattern. And then the purple is more to the middle. That's what we call stabilizing. The average phenotype, so the middle is the favorable. When we look at birth weights and survivability of birth weights, it is definitely stabilizing selection. Now, modern medicine with C-sections, etc., has changed that a little bit, but it still fits the pattern even today in the modern world. Babies born to an average weight, let's say 6 to 8 pounds, 5 to 7 pounds, somewhere in there, are more likely to survive than real small babies, babies that are born 2, 3, 4 pounds, sort of preemie babies. Their death rate is much higher. Or rather large babies, like let's say 10, 12 pound babies. That becomes complicated because of the size of the birth canal for mom. And we see before C-sections, lots of real large babies got trapped in the birth canal, not only dying during birth, but sometimes even killing mom. Okay, so an average phenotype was the advantage there. That's called stabilizing. Now, the third one is called disruptive. And this one's a little bit controversial because there aren't a lot of good examples that we can give. In fact, I've been doing this a long time. I don't have really any real good example that we can find. So it is more theoretical than the other two. The other two, we see lots of examples that work. Disruptive, not so much. So again, we see sort of the blue curve here. That's the norm. And then in the purple, the phenotypes to the outside become the advantage. So opposite phenotypes are favorable. I call this very rare, but it may lead to the creation of new species. In theory, this group here and this group here become so different from each other that they evolve into two species. That may be a speciation event, which again is one of Darwin's 6 main points. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great day. Call me, text me, FaceTime me, whatever you got to do. Let's get her done. Take care.